All right, let's start there. The Department of Correctional Services has finally confirmed that the so-called Facebook rapist is on the loose. In a statement, it says it is now in a position to bring forth findings of its investigation into Thabo Bester. This despite the department saying for months that the investigations were ongoing in response to a GroundUp investigation. The investigation revealed that a man found dead in his cell in May of last year was not Bester, and in fact, it appeared that the man had been killed and then set alight. The department now admits that the man's DNA does not match that of Bester's mother. It has confirmed that a post-mortem conducted on the body revealed that the male had blunt force trauma to his head and no signs of smoke inhalation. It says this is the basis upon which its investigation report concluded that Bester escaped from lawful custody. All right, to discuss, we're now joined by Correctional Services spokesperson Singabakho Nxumalo. Thank you for being with us, Mr. Nxumalo. When was the Department of Correctional Services investigative report completed?
A very good evening, and thank you for having us. As the department on record having stated that we were investigating this matter involving Thabo Bester. This is based on the alert that we issued on the 3rd of May 2022, when we received a report from Singabakho Correctional Center being operated by Chief OS, indicating that Thabo Bester had committed suicide by setting his cell alight, and he died in there.
Yeah, Mr. Nxumalo, my question is, when was your investigation into the matter completed? We know the background. I said that in the intro.
Oh, my apologies, because I felt perhaps
no problem. I'm just asking, when was the investigation completed?
I have the investigation report here.
Yeah.
We received it 2 days ago. We needed to study it and to ensure that...
Sorry, when was it completed? When was it completed?
I'm saying we received this report 2 days ago.
Okay, my question is, when was the report completed, sir?
And I affirm that we received this report 2 days ago.
No, but that's not the question. When was that report completed? When was that report completed?
It means the report was signed off 2 days ago.
When was the investigation that led to that report completed?
This report was signed off 2 days ago. That's the date within which it will say DCS officially has received the report.
Okay, but regardless of when it was officially received, when were the facts known and the investigation completed?
This is precisely the reason I was giving you that background, so that you fully understand how the system works.
Okay, no, this is our concern. It wasn't concluded. You have been saying, and you said a week ago, that you didn't know what was going on, essentially. So this investigation, it seemed, wasn't concluded between May last year, when somebody was found in the cell, burnt beyond recognition, and March this year. So it took almost a year, and you were saying these investigations take a long time, and we don't have... In fact, you said on the 17th of March, the investigation is ongoing. Suddenly the investigation is complete and a very big report is in your hand. Can you explain that?
If perhaps you allow me an opportunity to
Sure.
speak, maybe we'll hear each other. The reason why I was giving you the background, Singabakho Correctional Center is a public-private partnership facility contracted to Bloemfontein Correctional Contracts, operated by G4S. As per the contract, you will then have a controller. A controller is a DCS, a Correctional Services official. When the incident was brought to the controller's attention, then the contract will say that controller has to appoint investigators to look into that particular incident. And the controller did that. And this was defined as an unnatural death, meaning that that investigation needed to be conducted, but also the matter needed to be reported to the South African Police Service. And that's when the investigation started. And there were quite a number of elements in it, not an easy one, and even access to information not easily available, interviewing people, some not willing to cooperate, some trying to find whatever possible means not to be brought before our investigators to answer to relevant questions. And that has taken long. But even that, other elements needed other entities to look into them. Hence, then it has taken us long. And in the engagements that we had, we did explain to say we fully understand the pressure and why people were demanding answers. And we said we'll call upon investigators to say, do whatever is possible. We need to conclude this investigation so that we can make the findings available.
So suddenly,
yes, it has taken long.
Yeah. So
yes,
suddenly, when the whole nation is concerned because of media reports, suddenly you can come up with the information when that has not been available for a year, nearly a year.
And we can explain that because there were multiple organizations working on this, and also our investigators. As the information was being sourced, the report being put together, studying everything, unfortunately, part of it was being leaked to whatever institution or to whoever. And as a result, it is those snippets that were being leaked out there, which then prompted now people to ask more questions. That did not mean that we're not doing our work. But we said, in spite of that, we understand the pressure, but let us do the right thing and conclude the investigation and make it a point that we do everything as per the contract that we have with that relevant facility, and also working together with other entities. For instance, the SABC is still busy with their lack of investigation.
All right, you say the report was signed off 2 days ago. On the 17th of March, there's a statement with your name on it. It says that the DCS, that's your department, has been inundated with media queries, and we have clearly stated the investigation is ongoing and there are no new developments. So you're saying in the last week, suddenly everything has been revealed. You now understand exactly what happened. The investigation has been concluded. That huge book has been printed and signed, and that's all happened in the last week. Is that what you're saying?
You cannot take parts of the report that has not been concluded, signed off, and say, what we have thus far is this. Because what if in the final analysis and the findings of that investigation, some of the things may require that you need to look into? You will then contradict. In actual fact, you will even jeopardize that particular investigation.
Okay, can I read something else? Can I read something? Can I read something else that you put your name to? You said that the death of Thabo Bester, the investigation has not been concluded and the autopsy report has not been tabled before the department. You said that a week ago. Now your report has full details of the autopsy report.
Yes, I've said it, and we still stand by that, because every piece of information that you receive from another entity has to be submitted to you formally. You cannot just take this, okay, I've seen this information, let me take it here. But if the relevant authority says, DCS, we've done the assessment from our examination, this is what we are able then to put to you as our finding. And officially, please receive it.
Does this not mean that you can lie to the public? You can tell us that you have no new information, that an investigation is ongoing, simply because somebody hasn't signed it in the way that makes it official. So you can imply to the public, as it has been implied since the GroundUp report reporting began in November, that there is nothing new. That people are leaking information, that these are all claims being made. It's quite incredible.
I don't think you're following me. Perhaps if you can just give yourself time to listen to what I'm saying, because I'm doing the same to you. Maybe we'll have, a cordial engagement, which will then assist not just me and you, but even the viewers.
All right, Mr. Nxumalo, has the Department of Correctional Services been engaged in a cover-up?
There is no cover-up. And I still maintain this. You cannot willy-nilly pick up certain information from an ongoing investigation and say, thus far, this is what we have, because what if the finding indicate to something else? You will then point fingers at us to say, "Whoa, hang on, but you said this, now it has changed." Hence, then it's important that you allow the investigation. This is happening across all institutions. You allow the investigation to run its course. Then once it just says, "We have completed our work, and these are our findings," then you know that it is something that is coming from an investigation that has been completed.
All right.
And we said we do understand the pressure from the public out there, and we're saying we're doing everything possible, and we're pressing upon our investigators to conclude the work. And the indicator to us to say there were pockets of information that they needed other entities to confirm those, so that when they bring this report before us, we will, with confidence say, now we have a report, it has been concluded, and these are the findings. And that's what we've done.
All right. And again, just for the record, you're saying that report has only been concluded in the last week. Nobody was sitting on that big document that you have in your hand.
This report is a work of our investigators that started when they were appointed to look into it. They've been working on it. It has not been an easy work because it involved quite a lot of elements, a number of people to be engaged, other institutions also having to run their own investigations so that it could fit into this. And I've said even other investigations have not been concluded. For instance, like SABC, there is a number of
But sir, my question to you, for the record, is has it been concluded only in the last week? That document that's in your hand, has that only been concluded in the last week?
This report was signed off 2 days ago, and it's a final report. Perhaps what me and you don't find, where we don't find each other, is to say, an investigation, you allow it to run its course until that work is completed and findings, table everything there. You can then speak on the content of that report. But if you speak on an ongoing investigation, you run a risk where you may even contradict yourself or say things which at a later on may be proven not to be the fact.
All right.
Because then if you do that, you will jeopardize your own investigation. It therefore says you are likely to start it from scratch.
Yeah, so you can't. You're saying you can't even confirm that you had the autopsy report. You had to let journalists find that, and that carried on for months. But fair enough. Thank you for your response. Just very quickly, this man has allegedly been seen in Sandton. There have been various claims, including a video that shows him at a launch of his company in a suit against a white wall. It now emerges that he was actually in prison at that time. This would involve several people. What has been done, firstly, to track him down and to track down all his accomplices?
Okay, from the investigation that we have here, we've concluded that the body that was found in there is not that of Thabo Bester. We then raise a question to say, then where is Thabo Bester? And we're saying he has to be found. And the manhunt is on to locate him. But the other leg of the investigation is then looking at persons of interest and what happened on that particular morning. And these are the people that even the department is unable to locate. Where are they? Because they have serious questions to answer for. Even some of the items that were found in his possession, which were not even supposed to be there. How did they manage, to be in this? So those elements, are being there. Those elements are being covered. But what we also need to appreciate is that this is facility that is being operated by our contractor, and we're engaging with them because there are other elements that we're saying you ought to provide us with information what has happened here, because when we study it, these are security breaches. And we need them to come forward with that. All
right. So almost a year later, you're still waiting for many answers on this matter. Unfortunately, we have to leave it there.
It is not an easy matter. Hence, we said, let us take time. We fully understand the pressure, but you would rather take time and have a credible report rather than giving out a report that has a lot of holes that you can't even take it and present it in a particular platform because it will be questionable and you cannot even defend that particular report.
All right. That was Correctional Services spokesperson Singabakho Nxumalo.